And we're live. We both light up. We're so excited to be live here on Facebook and YouTube. I am David Strickle. Welcome to the stream of David Live. I am here with our host for the evening, Matt. Mystical Matt. Oh, I didn't know you changed your name. I looked down. I'm like, what the hell is that, Mystical Matt? You need to have a cape and a wand if you're going to call yourself Mystical Matt.
We're going to go deep down the rabbit hole today.
Oh, let's do it.
Hi, everyone.
I love the rabbit hole.
Yeah.
So we are going to be bringing the stream in as usual. We kind of sit here and banter a little bit as we're raising the vibe and letting people sign on, just talking about different things. We actually don't have a topic specific. We really just want to spend an hour raising the vibration of everybody who comes and participates collectively, because we had a hi, Denise.
Hey, Denise.
Saying hi to Mystical Matt. I don't know. I need a cooler name. He's Mystical Matt. Dream of David. So we had this incredible experience last Friday, and I kind of want to dive into talking about that a little bit, Matt.
Definitely.
And we talked a little bit. If you listen to my radio show, Matt was on my radio show on Monday, and we talked about it a little bit. But we have a little more time and freedom here. We don't have those commercial breaks and station identification, all that stuff here. So we can kind of get into it.
Hey, Rediscover Your Source. Nice to see you again.
Yeah.
And hey, Jeffrey, too. Hi, guys from YouTube.
Yeah, I love that YouTube people are joining now. It's really cool to. I'm a YouTube junkie. I don't have cable. I don't really watch TV, but I love to surf on YouTube, and just the randomness of YouTube is cool for me. So anyway, we had this magical experience, and Matt probably remembers it better than I do, because the magical part was my channeling, and I don't really remember it, and I haven't gone back and watched it yet. I'm still flying high. What is today? Wednesday? Almost a weekend.
Almost a week. Yeah.
So this happened on Friday.
Best drugs ever.
I'm still buzzing from it, and I think I see in the mastery group that you're all talking about kind of having a similar experience. So what can you share about your experience with the stream on Friday?
Look, I mean, first of all, the mastery class is so much fun, and it is a wonderful opportunity for advanced students to dive a bit deeper into understanding this practice and exploring more topics and more knowledge with the stream. And I think we had a new person joining us last week, Kerry. Hey, Kerry. I think she's usually on. She'll come on later.
Yeah, I think.
Oh, is she? Okay. And the energy was really high, and we just ended up flowing and co-creating a fantastic experience and drawing some incredible knowledge from the stream that left us all just completely blissed out and buzzing for days. Like really on a cellular level, everyone was affected. And I think it was an example for me. It was an example of how you can raise your vibration to a certain level where everything is in harmony, and when you get that, it's kind of like your cells all singing in tune, and you feel that. You feel that rush. You feel that buzz. You feel that.
The way I know that I'm there, other than when I'm channeling, but when I'm there, in a meditative place and not channeling. And when I'm channeling, it's the same thing. But of course, I'm busy channeling at that point, so I don't have the same recollection of it. I know I am connected and I'm zoomed out when I'm not judging anything, where everything that's happening on planet Earth, everything that's happening in everybody's lives seems perfect. And if you haven't been there, and most people I don't think go there, and I'm not trying to say that I'm special or anything like that. I think everybody has it available to them. But I think it takes some work in your life to unwind all of the fear-based, fear of everything teachings that we're all given in this world and in almost every society on this planet. Once you do the work to unwind all that stuff, you are really able to get to this super high connected level that's really already inside you. That's what I'm getting about consciousness is that consciousness is installed. We come pre-installed with consciousness in us. We are consciousness. We are expressions of consciousness having a temporary physical experience. But we're in this fog where we come forgetting all of that so that we can have this one-off human experience. And then the teachings of humanity, of planet Earth, sort of take over. And it's very fear-based. It's very controlling. And it really steals us away from what's available to us. But you can do work and get past all of that. And the work is detuning all of that stuff and getting rid of fear out of your life and learning to trust. And then you can get really, 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 really tuned in. And when you're really tuned in, you're not judging. You're not worried. You're not fearful. And it's if you're listening to these types of teachings for the first time, perhaps you may think that I'm nuts. I understand the 3D reality of, well, gosh, people are starving, people are dying. There's a pandemic going on. There's a global recession brewing. There's all this stuff going on, political unrest of all sorts. How could you say that? How could you say that everything is perfect? Well, that's just it. Our judgment of all of that is the thing that's separating us from source. And fearing pain, fearing suffering, fearing death, needing to control the experiences of other people, needing to control the outcome for us. All of that stuff it's all the staticky, fear-based reality stuff that when we're really tapped in, we can release and zoom out and really see that, wow, it's all perfect. Everything that we consider negative as human beings is our manifestation to actually take us to a higher place.
Yeah. Hey, Stephanie. And Stephanie writes a little note, which is actually perfect. Divine looks at everything in perfection and has forgiven everyone just to remember it.
I like reading some of your source. It's funny. I was just saying this today. Meditation is so popular, and I understand why, but I don't feel like I need to meditate. I only feel like I should because it's so suggested. Should everybody meditate, even though they don't feel the need? I don't think you have to do anything that you don't feel the need to do, first of all. Secondly, I was talking to somebody in my boot camp today about meditation, because meditation is an important part of boot camp. Because if you are wanting to separate from your 3D reality and connect with source energy and see things differently, a meditation practice is very, very, very beneficial to doing that. But I don't meditate every day. Not in the traditional sense of, not in the traditional sense of sitting in silence or oming or any of that stuff. My goal is to be connected all the time. My focus is I want to live in 3D reality and be in a meditative, source connected state at the same time. And that's why I created Taya. I realized that, sitting and meditating for a portion of my day was lovely while I was doing it. I had this massive awakening of energy within my body right when I started doing it, which was incredible. But I want, in Taya, we want to reach a place where our connectedness is sort of our own unique path to that connection, not necessarily certainly not sitting in a position or in a completely silent room, or, we'd always have access to that stuff. So that connected to source all the time, as much as possible, is my intention with how I manage my vibration.
Yeah. Oh, thanks, Deborah. Deborah says some lovely things on the chat there. And I think you're right, David. Like, meditation can be, 5 hours of sitting in silence and not moving and just focusing on your breath. It can be box breathing, where you breathe in, hold, out, in. It can be free diving. My wife and I have started free diving recently, and that's a very, very meditative experience. It can be ironing shirts and doing the dishes. It's anything that kind of slows down and stops the chatter of the crazy monkeys in your mind. It is a form of meditation.
Yeah, and, I talk about low thought activities all the time. And you talked about ironing. Ironing is a great low thought activity that is very cathartic. It's very meditative.
I'll send you my shirts.
Driving. Driving is a fantastic one. When I used to get out, I used to have to travel between Seattle and Vancouver a lot for work. And it's a beautiful drive, twisty roads, mountains, not a lot of traffic. And when you live in the city, if you get out of traffic and get to drive, it's a fantastic thing. And I would slip into meditation while I was driving because it didn't take a lot of thought to drive when you're just going straight at 80 miles an hour.
Yeah.
You're kind of just going with the flow. And man, this just amazing feeling and intuition and just fantastic experience would come over me. I get that now just when I take a shower. I get so much.
Hey, this is a family show, David.
In the shower, I get these amazing downloads of thought in the shower all the time. And it's because it's a low thought activity. We sort of shower on autopilot. We sort of drive on autopilot. Yeah. So when you're doing this low thought activity, you're actually bringing your mind chatter down to a level to where you're connected with source. That's all meditation is. It's quieting your mind and allowing your source connection. So it doesn't have to be anything specific.
There was a famous inventor, I can't remember his name, but there was a famous inventor in Japan who actually set up his laboratory. He had like 8 or 9 showers in there, and he would turn them all on full ball and stand in there in the middle with a whiteboard and a waterproof marker, because he did a study that all the negative ions that the water charges actually helped you have more creative thoughts. And he would jump in there for like 2 or 3 hours a day. So there is some correlation between the water and that negative charge that tends to drown us, because we tend to be too positively charged in our modern day society.
It makes sense. It definitely makes sense. So Bill is saying, in regard to world events, I believe as humans, most people desire control, but control isn't ours to direct. It's not our timing. It's playing out exactly as it's supposed to, in his opinion. And I agree with that. With that. Everything plays out exactly as it's supposed to. Yeah. And when I channel in a moment, and I'm going to bring the stream in a moment and answer any question that you have. So if you have questions for the stream, start typing them in now. Matt will read the stream in a little bit. But I'm enjoying this conversation right now with Mystical Matt. A new name for Mystical Matt. He's usually Matt Gardan, but now he's Mystical Matt. I love that.
And last week, I was magical last week.
Oh, I didn't notice how magical you were. Yeah. I just thought you were Matt. I didn't even tap into that. So the idea that there's something broken or wrong with the world, it's an interesting concept, because the stream tells us that we have these unwanted, these negative things, these things that we view from a 3D reality as things that we discern as not our preference, is what they like to say. That causes us to want something different, to want change. So that change actually is the basis of new creation. We create something new to solve the problem or the obstacle or the perceived problem that we're encountering, and that is our expansion. Yeah. So it's an interesting place in life to find a balance to where you're still going to manifest obstacles, but you're going to meet them in such joy and appreciation that you're able to solve them with ease.
Yeah, and stream. I've just done a little diagram here. Ooh, there we go. Like your life's going along well, and then you have a bump or a hiccup, and solving that propels it further up. Hang on, everything's backwards. So it's those little down bumps that actually launch the launch pads of your new creation.
Yeah. Deborah, I see your question. I have a very cynical answer for you. The day after the U.S. election. I'm just kidding.
What if there's no election?
What if there's no election? Well, somebody was just asking that. Somebody was just saying, what's next? There's all this distraction from certain events that are brewing. What's going to be next? And the stream is not about predicting a specific outcome, because the outcome is up to our vibration collectively, just like the outcome of your life is up to your personal vibration. The outcome of what happens on our planet is up to the collective consciousness vibration, the vibration of humanity. What do we want next? Are we going to continue down a path of fear and manifest more unwanted things? But it's important to understand those unwanted things that we manifest from a fear-based reality or fear-based stance actually serve us, because that actually presents more opportunities for things to pay attention to and detune. So therefore, none of it is wrong or bad or unwanted. The unwanted things serve a purpose. And I'm glad you asked that question, because that kind of brought me back to that. I did get that there's going to be disruption around the U.S. presidential election. There's like a calm right now with that. We almost don't even hear about it. And it's going to be something that's very, very, very disruptive. And not because the stream is specifically predicting a future outcome, but because our consciousness right now is so disrupted with all of these different things that are swirling around out there. We're living in a very different reality than we were 12 months ago. Very different.
Yeah.
Very, very different. So we can't help but have more things of like nature transpire, but it all ultimately serves our ascension, if you will.
Okay.
All right, I see some questions coming in. So what we do now is we are going to take a little moment to meditate together. Everybody that's on this recording right now, everybody that's on this live broadcast, we're not a recording, we're a live broadcast at the moment. Everybody that's with us right now, take a moment and become silent. Do a little meditation with me. It takes me a moment to bring the stream in. I bring the stream in. I channel the stream. The stream is core consciousness, the core of source energy, original thought, if you will. And the stream is part of all of us. So I channel the stream, but you all have your own version of this coming to you. And it's an interesting interaction to come and all get together and sort of allow the stream to flow to each and every one of us independently, but collectively. So this mass meditation that we're about to do is going to be a very powerful thing. And if you set an intention to receive something from the stream, you're going to receive it one way or another. Even if it's not exactly in this broadcast, you're going to receive an answer to what you were asking. And when I come back, I'll be channeling the stream. Matt will be taking over and reading all of your questions because I kind of slip out of channeling mode when I start scrolling and reading and doing all that sort of thing. It's easier for me to just stay in that gear and just channel. My human place limitation on my channeling ability. Okay, cool. You ready, Matt?
Let's go.
All right. We are here.
Thank you for joining us. We have a lovely group of people here today with some nice energy, and we'd like to ask you some questions, if we may.
You may.
Thank you. To start with, do you have any general guidance for people listening now and at future times?
Our general guidance does not change. Where we will, the universal law is very simple, as we state over and over and over again when we flow through David. Notice that our larger message, our larger narrative, if you will, is expanding, because your readiness for it is maturing. Your readiness for it is expanding. You have collectively, and when we say you, we are speaking of all humanity as a collective consciousness. You have placed yourself in this blender, if you will, that has sped things up for you and has redirected life on planet Earth for humanity. And we are here to tell you it's not going to go back to the way that it was. And we are also here to tell you that is not a bad thing. That this is your higher self consciousness. Each and every one of you have this. You have a higher version of you. You have your own version of this flowing to you. And you're all aware of it on some level. You've been told that it's many different things, but it is part of you. It is in you. It is not something that is separate from you. The ego separates you from your innate awareness of it. It sort of creates a fog so that you can come and have a unique human experience here on planet Earth, one of contrast. One where you are experiencing both positive things that you enjoy and negative things that you wish to create your way away from ultimately. That is true for all of you. The expanded message is coinciding with this very unique and very special time on planet Earth for humanity. And we began flowing through David in the way that you are receiving right now just a few years ago, because this time was approaching. And the collective consciousness was asking for clarity. And the collective in the asking for clarity was questioning everything. And we guide you to continue to do that. We guide you absolutely to question everything, even question our teachings. Question for yourselves, are you ready for this? Are you aligned with this message? If this message resonates with you, if it intrigues you enough to stick around and ask more and inquire more and go deeper into it, then you are indeed in the right place. If our message causes fear or some other negative emotion in you, you're right to move away from it. But we understand those of you that are participating know that you are here because you manifested your path here. You are questioning. You are inquisitive about your eternal nature. You are inquisitive about what's going on the planet around you. And we are here to clarify some things. And in our clarifying, you are experiencing a human being that is allowing our message to flow as unfiltered as it has ever flowed in the history of your planet. And in that, we are blowing up some physical realities, some ideas that you have all been taught, including the validity of science, the validity of religion, and the validity of what many of you would call spirituality. We are not saying that they are not valid. We are saying that they are human creation to better understand that which we are. But you are all part of our energy. And understanding that everything beyond the very simple universal laws of attraction and polarity, everything that is a spin-off of those two things is human creation. And all of your tools and all of your modalities and all of your creations of angelic beings and ascended masters and all of these things, these are human creation of humanizing the energetic realm. There is absolutely nothing wrong with your doing of that. There's nothing about that we are going to guide you away from. We simply want to strip all of that down to a very, very simple basis of the process of creation so that you can all understand and adopt this baseline of creation for your lives, and then partake in any human created tool that you want to partake in. But the Taya practice that we have delivered is a foundation for everything that you want in your lives, and everything that you want to solve, to change, to fix, to manifest, to expand, to awaken yourselves. And we are here teaching you that all the time in multiple places. And if you begin to listen to our teachings and begin to piece these things together, they will begin to shift your reality for you. In fact, they are not shifting your reality for you. You are shifting your reality with the tools. The idea of right and wrong, we understand that David was speaking of this before we fully dropped in. We are always present, especially leading into an interaction such as this. Your idea of right and wrong and your idea of low vibration and high vibration, again, by and large across humanity, has been tainted with these elements of control and these elements of fear to rein in that control that have been introduced. You have been taught that pain is bad. You have been taught that you need to avoid pain at any cost and seek comfort at all costs. And in your seeking comfort, notice that human beings tend to separate themselves from connecting to the energetic realm and seeking these comforts. Notice what your comforts are. Your television, your social media, food, alcohol, perhaps some sort of drugs, whether it is a chemical base or a plant base, pornography, sexual activity. There are many things that you use as distractions. And all of these things are things that you can discern as your preference from a physical perspective. And there is certainly no judgment from us in regard to your partaking in any of them. But when you are soothing and distracting and soothing and distracting and soothing and distracting and never zooming out and allowing your source connection, your natural source connection to be realized, you are missing a big chunk of joy that is available to you. And this joy comes in the form of clarity. It comes in the form of self-love, of feeling love for yourself and appreciation for yourselves. We will ask the question to all of you who are absorbing this. Do you love yourselves? Do you fully appreciate that which you are? Are you placing yourselves first in loving yourselves and understanding that in your love of self, you have so much more to offer your fellow human beings? We really want to drive that point home to all of you. We are feeling the vibrational need of that message to flow to each and every one of you who are interacting with us right now. That raising your vibration to a state of joy and clarity. And we say clarity, zooming out and seeing your lives as a very temporary, very small in comparison to the wholeness of that which you are, experience that you are having, that is brief, and seeing yourselves as a stream of eternal consciousness that is extremely powerful, for you are. In fact, understand that you are the most powerful creators on your planet. Notice how your bodies evolve faster than every other form of life. Notice how you have created technology. Notice how you have moved yourselves by and large out of the food chain. You have changed your reality, and in the contrast in your changing of reality, you have created a bubble of reality that is very 3D. And we do not get too deep into this 3D, 5D, 12D, all of these things that are, again, human creation. But we use the term 3D as physical, here in your physical reality as you are perceiving it. We want you to understand that your physical reality as you perceiving it is a station that you have created, that you have tuned into based on your perception of your entire physical experience from the time of conception up until right now in this linear moment that you're in. And understand that all of it is your perception of it, and your changing of any aspect or every aspect of it is as easy as shifting your perspective of it. And you shift your perspective of it by zooming out and allowing our energy to flow and in connecting in with our consciousness, which we promise you is available to all of you, and not judging and not fearing, and getting that clarity that is part of your eternal nature, and easing up on yourselves about your world and your role in your world. You are not here to save your planet. You are not here to hold others from their contrast, not even your family members. You are here to create your bubble of reality and make that reality so to your liking as far as clarity and joy that you become very inspiring to other human beings. And from your place of inspiration, you have the most to offer your fellow human. And you will reach a place where you cannot help but share how you're doing, how you got there, what you're doing up there. And you're so high up that you're not even concerned about the judgment of all of those that will say that you're crazy for being up there, that you're too woo, that you're too out there. We guide all of you to be too out there.
Lovely, because that energy is as infectious as fear, really, isn't it?
That energy that you have to offer is very contagious, if you will, and will do more good for fellow humans than any amount of charity or other benevolent acts. And we are not guiding you away from doing those things. We are stating that from your high vibrational space, that positive energy that you have to offer the collective consciousness of humanity is far more powerful than any financial or time donation that you could possibly make.
Mm-hmm. Oh, beautiful message. I wanted to talk about something that you touched on earlier about this collective consciousness. Is the collective consciousness just our higher selves being united as one in the energetic realm, or is there a level of consciousness that is almost emotive or feeling that is kind of unique to Earth?
There are layers of collective consciousness. First and foremost, there is a collective consciousness that is universal. Then you can come down to different layers of a collective consciousness that is humanity on planet Earth. Mm-hmm. That is its own unique collective consciousness having that experience in that space that you would call time and space, which is an illusion in and of itself, of being a human being on planet Earth at this time in this experience. That is a collective consciousness. Mm-hmm. Your circle, your bubble of reality and your circle of vibrational neighbors, there is not a better human term than this at this point that David has come up with to describe those in close proximity to you in vibration. These are your family members. These are your very close friends. These are strangers that you meet that you quickly learn are not strangers at all. And you all have these experiences. This is sort of your bubble of vibrational neighbors, if you will. That is a collective consciousness. Mm-hmm. The like-minded thinkers across your planet. In fact, that is a collective that has been recently advanced with your technology. Mm-hmm. David counts his very best friends as people all over the world, many of whom he's never met in physical. And here you are in another realm such as this social media technology that you're using connects you with other people that you can build a virtual relationship with, if you will, and you form a collective consciousness. David has said, and the people in his mastery program are diving deep and raising their vibration collectively as a group. Again, that is its own unique collective consciousness. So everything is a wormhole. Everything is a mirror reflection into infinity. So your collective consciousness of your immediate family is a reflection of your collective consciousness of your close friends, is a collective consciousness of your vibrational neighbors, is a collective consciousness of everyone in your town, in your country, on your planet, and continues from there into infinity. And each has its own unique vibration collectively.
Oh, thank you. And so at our smallest level, doing our little bit to just raise our own emotions, feelings, vibration ripples out through the universe, really, doesn't it?
Absolutely. And again, we cannot stress enough, into infinity. There is no beginning and end. The beginning and ending in linear time is a physical quality due to polarity and to sort of to drop your consciousness, if you will, into this movie that you're in. And to have this experience, this contrasting experience that will drive you ultimately to create new things and expand in the process of while you're in that movie. You return to your eternal consciousness, and you understand from that higher perspective that it's all happening simultaneously. The thing that is happening, though, is that with each experience, there is expansion occurring because of all of the shifts in focus and all of the contrasting experiences, and the overcoming and even the not overcoming of create expansion.
Oh, thank you. We've got a couple of questions from the audience that I'd like to jump to, if I may. One from Deborah, who asks, and it's kind of a nice segue from what we were talking about. Do we have the same feelings in the energetic realm as we do here on Earth, or is there only love? You know, when we raise our vibration now to a state of love, it ripples out to infinity. Is it the same feeling?
The very best word that we can utilize to describe the feeling when you are not in physical is you are released of your physical body. So the anxiety and stress and pressures and physical ailments and those things, and the taste and touch and feel and the positive things are not present. You are consciousness, and that consciousness is swept up, if you will, in an expansive, pure positive energy. So there is no contrast in that. There is nothing to fear. There is nothing to judge. There are no worries. The very best word would be you are existing in a state of deep love. Absolutely. And that is why you come to physical, because your intelligence is too great to stagnate in a non-contrasting, pure positive environment. It drives the universe for sure, and it is a lovely feeling and a lovely place to be. But there is there's no contrast offered there. So there's no expansion offered in that. So as soon as you realize back into that state, the first thing that you desire is to come back into physical again. And we understand that there are many that hear those words and do not believe that, or do not want to believe it, because you believe you've had this difficult life up until now. And some of you say that you're just ready for it to be over. Some of you say that you want this to be your last lifetime and you want to go exist in pure positive. But from that higher perspective, you're no longer fearing. You're no longer judging. You are no longer looking at something and believing that the being that is being abused in some way is having a horrible experience that you never want to see again. You see things very differently in that completed state, if you will. That all of these things are very temporary, and you view them very differently. Even those that are suffering greatly from a human perspective return to their completed state and look back in awe of what they created while they were physical in their lives and how much expansion that offered to them. And in that expansion, they're eager to come back and do it all over again, very often in an even more contrasting way.
Which leads us to a nice question that Bill asks. He has this sense of feeling homesick, not for a home or a place, but for somewhere he's never been. It's something that's been with him for a long time, and he's trying to figure that out. Is that a longing of his higher self to return to another realm?
What the real longing is a longing to we are using this term often in this interaction, but it fits almost every scenario, is to zoom out and realize that in your completed state, you are everywhere. And as a physical being, you have experienced infinite realities. And that homesickness is not about a place, it's about a state of mind that is available to you in this lifetime. It is sort of a being at peace with the physical lifetime that you are experiencing right now, and zooming out to the higher perspective of there is no right or wrong, and everything is perfection in the world around you. The homesickness has judgment attached to it. The judgment of this is not where you belong and this is not where you're supposed to be. Yet from your higher perspective, you absolutely chose vibrationally to be here at this time and projected into the scenario that you projected into, meaning your race, your gender, your preferences, your parents, your religion, your nation, all of these things were your vibrational alignment. So you are exactly where your higher self intended for you to be. The homesickness is a desire to go higher and higher and higher in vibration while you are here, and making more peace with exactly where you are without anything needing to change. And you're doing that, the feeling of being homesick will go away.
Beautiful. Thank you. And that's a lovely explanation, Bill. I hope that resonated for you. Jeffrey asks an interesting question, which fits nicely with where we're going. We hear about mystics and mysticisms throughout our collective history. Are we another iteration of a group that has already existed? And as you're talking, if our eternal consciousness projects into this lifetime, and we die, does it reproject immediately into this same existence again?
We without going with David very recently that you're, again, using the very best human terminology that exists in David's language, you cycle through physical environments as a soul consciousness being, because you're part of that collective consciousness. So you cycle through, in the example of all of you are cycling through the experience of being a human being on planet Earth at this time. And you will cycle through many of what you would call lifetimes of being a human being, and have these multiple human experiences to sort of come to planet Earth and work on the things that you want to work on, meaning experiencing the contrast that you want to experience and expanding in the process. And in doing that, you are going to stick around in a vibration for a while, as long as it's serving your expansion. And when and to give an example, one who is born into great privilege, you very often view these as people who are blessed, while the opposite is actually true. You would, in this example, an eternal strand of soul consciousness which powers each and every one of you and all creation. You would choose perhaps an easier path early on, and perhaps even during that lifetime project into a very easy experience, one of privilege, and then place obstacles in your own paths. This is the one who was born into wealth and adoring parents and develops a drug problem as a result, because there was not enough contrast offered in that life experience to give that soul the expansion that it was desiring. And in the next lifetime, if you will, that soul will project back into something more complex, something more difficult. So the example that we're offering, and this is just an example, but one would start out as a soul consciousness being over here as someone born into great privilege, and end up over here as to one who is born into war, or one who is an aborted fetus even, or one who is stillborn, or one who is born into terminal illness. And we use the example very often of the little ones that come with terminal illness and live a very short amount of time, and yet they were very bright lights. And everyone that encountered them speaks of what a bright light they were. And even the parents are wondering where this child came from, because this child had so much more depth than they did, and understood that they did not teach that child any depth, that child's experience brought them to that depth. And even though we look at their short lifespan as sad, that is a soul projecting in a very short amount of time, experiencing human contrast, absolutely, pain and illness and being different and all of those things, but having to go deep with that as a soul consciousness being, having a human experience, and then departing when that mission is completed of expansion, the expansion from the contrast. You all experience this, and you will not reach a place where you are no longer part of physical. You are going to be connected to physical eternally in different ways, and there are infinite environments that you are going to project into. But there is absolutely a cycle that most will encounter that is going to keep you as a human being on planet Earth throughout multiple experiences.
Mm-hmm. And without going too deep into it, your soul consciousness is having an infinite number of those experiences simultaneously.
It is all happening simultaneously, but the expansion is also occurring simultaneously. So every experience is shifting as the consciousness is expanding with these multiple experiences. Mm-hmm. It is not in linear time. It is very difficult to describe multiple human experiences not in linear time, but essentially your strand of soul consciousness is existing infinitely at the same time. So your past lives and your future lives are all happening concurrently.
On as many as you're having on this planet as the infinite number of other realms.
Correct. And it is very difficult, we understand, for a human being to wrap their mind around infinite. But you are infinite. We are infinite. Physical is infinite. And in fact, there are so many different physical realities. We were asked this question very recently. The thinking of planet Earth as a speck of dust on another environment is not off base.
It's mind-boggling. And it's like, it's as if our soul has the cheat codes to the computer game and can just respawn endlessly, and gets better and better at playing the game each time it respawns.
Your computer games are a brilliant manifestation that is very, very connected to how the energetic realm operates. That is not by accident.
Thank you. Jeffrey has a nice comment here, which kind of ties in very well to everything that you've been sharing today. I love and appreciate all these great questions. I feel like we are mostly all of very similar emotional places, and that feels great. Thank you, new friends of understanding and comprehension. Essentially, Jeffrey's just tapping into this collective consciousness that we've created, and that co-creates your presence here.
Those of you that are interacting right now are tapped into this collective consciousness and this bubble of reality that you are experiencing. This operates the same as everything else universally. And those of you with whom our words are resonating are very tapped into this message, and you're co-creating it. You are actually extracting it from us, even without Matt reading a question.
True, and we didn't. None of us arrived here by accident.
Those of you, even those of you that arrive here and do not understand what you are absorbing, it is not by accident, and it is not that we are trying to lead you to anything. There is something that you are manifesting that you need to question that caused you to be here. That does not mean that you need to stick around. Does not mean that you need to ask questions or be into any of this at all. But you're here for a reason. Everything that occurs in your lives is a manifestation, and you are discerners of preference. We often say you're all judgmental. At your core, you are, because you are all discerners of preference. There are preferences toward a set of teachings, and there's preferences away, and you're free to prefer anything that you want, and there's no getting this wrong. Not many human beings are going to ever absorb what we are offering through David. A handful. And some that have gone out to the leading edge of consciousness as human beings. Most are not ready for that. And we are not judging that, and we guide you not to judge that. The ones who believe that all of this is made up, or all of this is insanity, or all of this is too out there, or any of those other judgmental words, they are all existing in their own bubbles of reality, doing exactly what they need to be doing to contribute to the expansion of humanity and the expansion of the universe as a whole.
Yeah.
There is value in every experience, even those that you judge is one that you do not want or even want to be a part of and knowing about.
Oh, beautiful. Rediscover Your Source has a really nice question, which is timely, of course. Can you talk about the importance of enjoying the journey and appreciating the process rather than the end goal? You know, this and philosophers and mystics have spoken about this throughout the times, that life isn't about getting to the end. Life is about the dance along the way.
The obstacles that you manifest, and first and foremost, we want to guide you to understand that you manifest everything that's happening in your bubble of reality. When we say that, and we are not feeling the vibration of many who do not understand that at all. Every once in a while, there's one that will absorb our teachings through David's podcast or his book, and really not understand it at all. And the common response is, why would anyone manifest having cancer or being abused? Your manifestations do not stem from your desires. If your manifestations all stem from your desires, you would all have everything that you wanted. It would be that easy. But while all attraction, all creation occurs via attraction, all attraction is governed by polarity. Those are the two universal laws. That's it. That's all there is. And that polarity is driving your vibration up and down a virtual vibrational spiral at all times. You're all aware of it. Your emotions are up, your emotions are down. Some days you're hopeful, other days you're fearful, you're worried, you're happy, you are elated at some times, and other times you are even down in depression. Why is that? Because of polarity. You are all impacted by polarity. Well, when you believe, as you are often taught, that being down in lower vibration is a bad thing, and that obstacles are bad things, and that pain is a bad thing, and suffering is a bad thing, you are all taught to fear that, because your fear of those things keeps you in control, places you in a box.
Yeah.
Think about how many things in your society you all do that you behave in certain ways out of fear-based teachings that serve a minority. A small handful of human beings on your planet are being grandly served by the templated lifestyle of the masses. This is your governments, this is your religions, this is your largest corporations. All of these institutions that you're all coming to question like never before have you in a path of control. your educational systems, your credit rating systems, your banking systems, your credit card systems, all of these things, all of them are implemented to keep you distracted and keep you in a constant state of numbness, but numbness with a tinge of fear, so that you stay in a certain alignment of behavior. And when you start questioning that, suddenly those institutions begin to falter. And you are questioning it, and you are seeing things begin to falter, and you are seeing these institutions push back, wanting more control. And in seeing all of these things, you are coming to understand that you do not have to play in the sandbox with any of those realities if you do not want to. That you indeed create your own reality, and you are capable of manifesting anything that you want to manifest. And this idea of fear and this idea of avoidance of pain is only harming you. It's scaring you into submission. And when you release your fear of pain, and you release your fear of failure, and you release your fear of disappointing your parents, and you release your fear of being a bad parent, you release your fear of losing your job, and you release your fear of homelessness, you release your fear of bankruptcy, you release your fear of COVID-19, suddenly you start behaving differently. Suddenly you can zoom out to a higher perspective and see how powerful you truly are, and understand that your life, wherever you are right now, is a sum of your beliefs. If you are fear-based about money, you're probably having trouble with money. If you feel unworthy of love, you're probably feeling unloved. If you have a low opinion of yourself, you are probably surrounding yourself at home, at work, and otherwise with people who have the same opinion of you. Notice it. Do a little examination of your lives and understand that your lives are your creation through your dominant thoughts. And you're told that your lives are running on autopilot because of your subconscious mind. But understand that your subconscious mind is only a sum of your conscious thinking. Habitual conscious thinking builds your subconscious mind. So when you disrupt your conscious thinking with some tools that are very easy to adapt, and we are speaking of human created tools, because you are physical, you are human, you need some human created tools. What we do in our guidance is we remove all of the fluff.
Yeah.
We give you guidance based in universal law on some tools that you can use to appreciate yourselves more, love yourselves more, be connected to our energy more, which is in all of you. Release fear and allow trust. And when you release fear and allow trust, you truly begin trusting yourselves and trusting the universe to deliver any experience that you want, any shift that you want, any change that you want. So much so that you allow yourselves to go down in vibration and manifest some obstacles and meet them in joy, because you understand from that higher perspective that these obstacles, that illness, that person that walked out on you, your disobedient, perhaps even disappointing children, your difficult parents, your job that you do not like, your empty bank account, whatever it is that you've manifested, all of it is really there to serve your expansion.
Yeah.
You can find appreciation for anything that happens to you as a human being. Anything. You can find a path to appreciation of it. And when you find a path to appreciation of it, you detune its negative vibration, its hold that it has on you. You loosen that grip. When you find appreciation for your greatest transgressors, suddenly they are no longer transgressors. They are your teachers. They are your helpers. And the universe did not send them to you. You ordered them up vibrationally on purpose from your higher perspective. You went down in vibration. When you were down in vibration, you let fear set in. When you let fear set in, you started thinking about things that you do not want. And when you started thinking about things that you do not want, and that fearful vibration, that emotion, you attracted those things or things of like nature right to your doorstep. Yeah. And you experience them. And perhaps in the past, you loathe them so much that you continue to place things of that nature in your paths over and over and over and over again. And you believe that you're a loser magnet, or that you're just broken when it comes to money, or that you're always going to be in a job where you are working with toxic people, or that you're always going to be alone, or that you're always going to be sick, or that you're always going to be overweight, or whatever it is. It works the same on every single topic. And you all have some topics that you are very successful in. Something. There is something that each and every one of you, regardless of what a mess your lives may be, there is something that you are good at manifesting. And you have to take that topic and understand that it all manifests the same, that there's a belief pattern that allows you to believe in that topic, that allows you to believe that you're good at making friends, or that you're friendly and people like you when you meet them, or that dogs love you, whatever it is. You've got to take that topic and realize that you can take that energy and overlay that energy on anything in your life. Anything. Your belief.
Yeah.
Wow. Your belief creates your reality.
Wow. Thank you. And Deborah, I think that probably answers the question. What is the most important lesson we're supposed to learn here on Earth?
The most important lesson that you're supposed to learn here on Earth is that your contrast serves your expansion. And most of you will not learn that until you depart. We are here to tell you that your contrast serves your expansion. Why do you think demonic creatures were created by human beings? The Satan, the devil, things like that. To hold you away from the reality that the things that you view as negative in your life are actually there to serve your expansion. And when you tap into appreciating the negative aspects of your life, you tap into your true creative power. When you are born into a situation where perhaps you were abused by your parents and you were told that you were a victim, and you hold yourselves in that space of victimhood, perhaps for your entire life, and you find yourself being placed in the position of being a victim of something over and over and over again. And your world is set up to soothe you in your victimness. But that's robbing you of your power. So when you flip the script and tell yourself that you're not going to be a victim anymore, that was your manifestation, even if you were a young child, that your higher self placed you in the path of that danger because you, from a higher perspective, were looking to have contrast in your life, whether it was illness, abuse, poverty, whatever it was, and you take ownership of the manifestation. This does not mean that you wanted it. It does not mean that you deserved it. It does not mean that you deserved it because of a past life. None of that is accurate. It is simply contrast that you experienced as a child in this example. And when you shift your focus from feeling like a victim to understanding that for some reason you manifested that, and you don't even have to understand right away what the reason is, and you find appreciation for it, how did that serve your expansion? How can that serve your expansion if you cannot find how it did? And when you find that little nugget of appreciation, suddenly you're detuning the negative energy around that event, that transgressor. Suddenly you're stepping into your true creative power. There's a reason that society tells you that you're a victim. There's a reason that society wants to point you toward the privilege of another. Because if you're focused on that, you are feeling like a victim and you are held away from your own powerful creative abilities. Your imagination is a powerful creator, a very powerful creator. You are consciousness. You are eternal. You are collective consciousness. Your consciousness created this planet that you're on, or you would not be here as part of it. So if your consciousness can create planet Earth, and your consciousness can drive you through this lifetime as a human being and create everything in your lives up until now. And we promise you, there are things that you're experiencing right now that if we went back to the 5-year-old or 10-year-old version of you, you would not believe possible. And yet here you are, you've manifested them. This is how powerful you truly are.
Even the 40-year-old version of me wouldn't believe it.
Step into that power. Step into that power. Stop allowing yourselves to feel like a victim, because it is not serving you. It's keeping you in the vibration of being a victim. The clearest way to move out of victimhood is to appreciate the transgressors that placed you there in the first place and accept that you allowed yourself to be placed there. And that self-acceptance, that taking responsibility for everything is your empowerment, because now you have the tools to shift the narrative and change the direction of the rest of your experience as a human being.
And in those moments of detuning, we're literally rewiring the cells in our brain, aren't we?
You are. The more you shift your conscious thinking and the more disruptive it is, the more you are activating and awakening within yourselves. And when you stop caring about the judgment of others, you stop caring whether or not your friends and family judge you as being too out there, too weird, too woo-woo, suddenly you step into great power. You are awake and you are not caring. You are not harmed by their judgment. You will zoom out enough. You may go through a transition period where you are harmed by it initially, but as I promised you, if you stay on your true path, your path of truth for you, that you will reach a place where their judgment of you does not impact you whatsoever. Even their disownment of you does not impact you whatsoever if that comes to pass. You will come to a place where you love you so much and you are so connected that anyone that disconnects from your life, you will understand that in your higher vibrational state, you are no longer their vibrational match. When people come into David's boot camp program, one of the first things he warns them about, if they're in a relationship, that the Taya boot camp has caused as many divorces as it's caused marriages. Because one is moving up in vibration and loving and appreciating themselves more. And if the other does not follow, the other prefers the lower vibrational version, the other's threatened, that can cause a rift. The good news is when you go through that program and you exit, you are elated with the dissolution of the relationship. Because your high vibration, and we understand that you have all bought into this soulmate together forever idea. And there's not necessarily anything wrong with that because you all have vibrational neighbors. But you place so much pressure on these relationships, they're bound to self-destruct much of the time. But when you stop hanging your happiness on the behavior of any other human being and allow your true connected, soul-connected self to be your true source of happiness, you are in your highest vibrational vicinity that you have access to as a human being. And in that high vicinity, you will see people exit your life and you will see new higher vibrational people flow in. And we are not judging the vibration of another. We are simply saying that when you move to that zoomed out space, there are many that are going to judge you. And we are preparing you for that. And in you moving to that zoomed out space, you will not need to in turn judge them or yourself or even the dissolution of any relationship.
You evolve to a higher collective consciousness.
And you gain appreciation for all those that have disconnected from you and the fact that they're on their own unique human path and there's nothing wrong with it. They're just not going to be in the vicinity of you because you move someplace else. And it does not make you superior at all. They are having their experience and you are having yours, and you have chosen to raise your vibration to a more soul consciousness level, which is available to every single being on your planet. And the animals achieve it easier than the humans do.
They do. Oh, that was amazing. Do you have any final words for us? We've gone way over time, but it's been well worth doing it.
We guide all of you. When you first hear these words, sometimes we are going deeper and deeper and deeper with our teachings as the collective is escalating and the events of your planet are becoming more interesting, for lack of a better word. And they're going to continue to be interesting. You are not going back to where you were, and that is a good thing. The collective consciousness is questioning, and the questioning is causing the earth to sort of crack open, if you will, and the institutions are crumbling. And the crumble can be very quickly and very rapid, or the crumble can be a very long, drawn-out process. There's no right or wrong in any of that. So we are guiding you not to worry about the future so much. Very often we are asked about the future. We are not here to predict your future. Your future has infinite possibilities, because your collective consciousness, and this is true for your life or the collective of humanity, how you're responding and reacting and where you're taking your vibration is what is going to dictate your future. Not a guru, not another human being. Certainly there are human beings that can tap into a collective and get massive events correct sometimes, but they are performing a bit of a parlor trick, and they are also holding you away from your creative powers. We are not here to hold you away from your creative powers. We are as eager to see what's next as you are, because the expansion comes from the collective's reaction to what you have manifested. You can look at this time as a time of great expansion and look at it in joy and not be fearful of anything. and continue to expand in your own bubble of reality, contributing to the high vibration collective. Or you can go down your spiral in fear, or you can waffle between the two, which is the most common. And the waffling between the two will produce a mixed bag of results, as it always has and always will. But the more you ascend, the more you are going to gain clarity. And the more you gain clarity, the less you are going to need to control the outcome, and the less you are going to need others to behave or manifest in such a way that is congruent with your desires. You will be so resolute in your own desires that you are happy in your own bubble of reality, appreciating all humanity, loving yourselves, and enjoying every single second of this amazing experience that you are having here as human beings on planet Earth at this time. With much love, that is all we have.
Namaste. Woo! Wow. That was excellent. Excellent, excellent, excellent. Thank you, everyone. Some fantastic questions, some great energy and interaction. We've gone a little over time, but it was well worth it. Yeah. It was just it was too good to stop. Good. It was brilliant.
Comments and questions. So remember to hit like, to hit love, to share this wherever you can. It's always good to share this stuff out. And,
anyone who's new today and who's just kind of stumbled across this for the first time, Stephanie Parrish and I think Bill Raybuck, wherever you guys are, the best thing to do to find out more about David and the work he does is to join the Facebook group or to visit the streamofdavid.com/tire. And go to David's website and you'll find out all you need to know there, and join the Facebook group for more exclusive content, and also to have access to the mini lives that David does during the week.
Yeah, the Facebook group is called TYA, T-Y-A, Global Awakening.
Global Awakening.
I remembered it this time, hey.
Yeah, you're normally a little bit...
Yeah, go join TYA Global Awakening. TYA is a spiritual practice that I created based on the teachings of the stream that I teach people all over the world now. And TYA Global Awakening, you can jump into that group. I do 2 TYA talks a week, and I'm in there teaching TYA in different ways all the time. You can get access to the podcast, the book, everything on the website or in the group.
Yep, I've just posted it there, Steph. TYA Global Awakening on Facebook.
Cool. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for watching. I really enjoyed this. I don't remember much of what happened, but I know it was powerful because I always feel good afterward. Yeah, Matt, thank you so much, as always, for hosting.
Man. Pleasure. It was great fun. Thanks, everyone.